Shalom, call halal Yahweh by Hashem Shai by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers that are doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners. And to the Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in truth. And I'm profiling a video that's called The Temple Is You, which was done by Yadazak. That's my son. He's in the Colorado Sons of Yasharala camp. And he went into a really good lesson about the awakening of the Israelites. And there was a specific thing that he said that, that sparked this response. His video and another video that I watched, that how Esau is going to make Jake the face of terror with disinformation. So anytime that truth is spoken, all right, especially when it comes to the people of the Lord, if anything that's spoken that goes against the narrative that they're pushing, even when it's true, most often it's true, but if it doesn't fit their narrative or it hurts the narrative that they're trying to push, then they would deem that information disinformation, even if that information is 100% correct. But let me grab this scripture here. This is Isaiah 52:2, and actually let me back up. Let me go back to Hosea. I think it's Hosea 4:6. All right. And it says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee. And thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forget thy children. And that is why we're so broken and divided and lost and even among ourselves and divided, because we follow not the laws. I was at a funeral yesterday, and to support a beloved brother who lost his father, and being that I just went through that too. But it's the same thing, because I spoke at my father's funeral, and so did this brother. And when the brother's trying to be solemn, this is a solemn, thing. The priest always tries to turn it into a party, man. They don't make that separation between solemn and celebrate. It's a time and place for everything, And but nevertheless, he was giving people knowledge, but then he would turn around and counter his own knowledge with folly, man. All right, and he also was making the woman equal to the man, which is off. That's the Lord. Everything's about balance. The Lord has an order, man, and our people don't want to acknowledge the order, which is a part of the knowledge. That's why it says that. Right. It says Hosea 4:6 again. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee. All right. So. And that's exactly where we are. Our people, they want to hold on to their own thoughts and their own ways and lean into their own understanding, which just leads to destruction and confusion. All right. So now I'm gonna go to Isaiah 52, because for those of our people who are embracing this truth, it says, shake thyself from the dust, Isaiah 52:2. Shake thyself from the dust, arise and sit down, O Jerusalem. Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion. And see, there's been this mass awakening. And this is what Esau fears. And so since he can't stop this mass awakening, he's demonizing us. All right? He's demonizing us for proving that his history is false, for proving that he's propagated lies, and then he turns around and throws and tries to put it back in our face. All right? Because in Ezekiel 37 is we're living in that time. That has happened. The dry bones have awakened. All right? As a matter of fact, this is Ezekiel 37 and and 1. I'm going to read to about verse 10. And it reads, the hand of Yahweh was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of Yahweh and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of dry bones, which is basically Babylon, the valley of the shadow of death, because our dry bones, our people had no life in them. All right. You are no people when you don't know who you are, when you're running around calling yourself by a color or a continent, and referring to yourself as an African America, Africa being named after Scipio Africanus, a so-called white man, and America being named after Amerigo Vespucci, another white man. So you're labeling yourself after 2 white men and saying that that's who you are. Or you're calling yourself black, which is a color, when your skin is actually brown. All right, confusion. Our people are lost for lack of knowledge. Okay? And it says, and caused me to pass by them round about, and behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord God, thou knowest. And again he said unto me, prophesy unto these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of Yahweh. And thus saith the Lord power unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. And I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. So I prophesied as I commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking of the bones came together, bone to his bone. And I can't help remember, but when my very son is on the screen, when he was like 8, 9 years old, and I was out visiting him, he was staying at the hotel with me. He was and I was reading him the Bible. All right, and now he don't put the Bible down. He learned this at a very young age. All right, till he had problems all through school because he knew so much biblical history. He was causing problems in school with the history teachers. To the point his mother would keep calling me, like, what are you teaching my son, man? And I was trying to calm his spirit and tell him, look, son, everything that you know, it's a time and place for it. You just, some of this information you have to sit on it until it's time to prophesy. But he was burning, that truth was in him, and it got so bad at one time. One of his teachers took him out in the hallway and admitted and told him, look, you're right, but I can't teach that, because they'd start talking about, Gad and the slave trade and Christopher Columbus, and he started going in on him. He was causing problems. But you can't quench the fire of a lion, man. But nevertheless, that you have to, and I'm trying to paint that picture because that same issue that his teachers have, the authorities have with us all now. Because they can't stop this movement. They can't stop this worldwide awakening of the Israelites, and that is a direct threat to the so-called white man's rulership. Us waking up is a threat to them. And even though we're not physically doing anything to them, all right, they're gonna make it seem that way. They're gonna label us terrorists and everything else. Why? Because of the awakening. And now the Bible is being read with understanding. History is being dug up. And that's the amazing thing, that most of I'm going to click to another video. Most of the history books that we use to prove our points is books that are books that they actually, created themselves. All right. Yeah, this is the right video. All right. So they have a problem with the truth being told. And the name of this video is, and this is by Mercy for the Elect 144. All right. And it's called, Hey, Jake, you are being made the face of terror by, well, you can read the screen. I won't even say the word. All right. But let's we're going to let about 4 or 5 minutes of this play. Maybe about 4 minutes of it. And then I'm going to read some scriptures and close it out.
administration after it announced it was setting up a disinformation governance board. Sounds like something from 1984, right? Well, it's supposed to combat misinformation ahead of the midterms. Person heading it, a woman named Nina Jankowicz. She is a Russian.
And so Esau loves to go against the order of the Bible, though, while claiming to be a Christian. All right. Okay, because it clearly tells you. Let me read the Bible, which their presidents and all their people in office swear in upon, right in front of those very flags that she's standing in front of. They swear in on the King James Bible. But let me pull up this scripture and then let her continue. All right, and it's also prophesied that would happen too, that a woman would compass a man, the Lord, because it's not supposed to be. All right, but let's go to 1 Timothy 2:10. All right, because they all swearing, Kamala Harris too, they all swearing on the Bible, right? But it says 1 Timothy 2:10, but which becometh women professing godliness with good works. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp the authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in transgression. All right. So the woman, so the Lord set up an order where the woman was never supposed to usurp the authority over man. A woman is never supposed. I get called a sexist for this, or misogynist, or whatever, these words that they like to create. But a woman was never supposed to be put in a position where she usurps the authority over man. All right. And think about it. Since the woman went into the workplace, divorces and adultery went through the roof, man. Because the woman she's at work surrounded by all these other men, and she spends more time at work with these men than she actually does with her husband. All right. But, that's going to go off into something else. But nevertheless, let's let them continue, because this is completely out of order. All right. And they hate Russia so much right now, but yet they want to put a Russian woman in control over policy here in America and over people in America, men.
Disinformation expert who cast doubt on the New York Post reporting about Hunter Biden's laptop. She suggested it was, quote, a Trump campaign product in 2020. Of course, the news comes just days after Twitter was sold.
Now, also remember that they lost that very same said laptop so that the evidence that was on it couldn't be shown or proved, which would have made this woman, Jankowicz, a liar. But I digress.
Sold to Elon Musk. Some critics are calling the timing Orwellian, you think? Jankowicz herself says she shudders to think about Musk taking over Twitter. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas explaining why the board was created during testimony yesterday.
We have just established a mis- and disinformation governance board in the Department of Homeland Security to more effectively combat this threat, not only to election security, but to our homeland security.
Joe Biden cannot continue to control this country if you have free access to information. It's that simple. Biden certainly is not improving your life. He's not even trying to improve your life. So the best he can do is lie to you and demand that you believe it. But to do that, he needs to make certain that nobody else can talk, because if you were to hear the truth, you might not obey.
And that's really directed at us when it comes to race and the Bible and salvation and what's going to happen to this present evil world and administration that's ruling over it.
How is Biden going to pull that off? It's not easy. Well, one option would be to get men with guns to tell you to shut up.
We have so many different efforts.
Wisdom of Solomon 2:11. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. So it doesn't matter if you telling the truth. I got the gun, so you just STFU, which means shut the F up.
It's underway to equip local communities to identify individuals who very well could be descending into violence by reason of ideologies of hate, false narratives.
So now the truth in the Bible is hate. All right. Now they pushed the whole false narrative of that slavery was okay when they were doing it, but now that we're reading in the Bible that there's a recompense for the slave for slavery and the way that America was built. There's a recompense coming from a higher power than us that we can't do anything, and that we cannot and will not do anything ourselves. That the Lord that the so-called Jesus that they call upon is going to be the one to do it. Now that that's coming out, the words of the Bible are now a problem. Okay.
Or other disinformation and misinformation propagated on social media.
Now that it's come out, he's wearing a white shirt, but his skin is not white. All right, that they're not white people. That they made it up as a social construct to go and along with the social construct of whiteness, of white superiority. All right, that they labeled themselves that, and then this whole ideology was built around it. Basically, they're guilty of everything that they're trying to put charges on other people. So what they're doing is they're taking the very things that they're guilty of and aiming it towards someone else. That's exactly what they're doing. Exactly. This new government disinformation board.
Media and other platforms.
Oh, did you know that? So one of our biggest law enforcement agencies has men with guns around the country doing so many things to stop disinformation and false narratives. Those aren't even lies. They're just deviations from the approved script. America's told us again that men with guns plan to, quote, identify individuals who could be descending into violence, could be descending. Not people who've committed violence or even been accused of any crime at all. DHS is instead using law enforcement powers to identify and punish people who think the wrong things. That would be opponents of the Biden administration. Is this dystopian fiction? No, it's happening right in front of us.
That's right. He's right. And this is like the movie with Tom Cruise, when they were hunting people down for future crimes because they might commit a crime. I can't remember the name of the movie. If someone can, some sharp individual is going to remember it, if you could put it on the comment board. But let's read this. This is Wisdom of Solomon 2:10. And this set of scriptures has been coming out a lot lately. All right. But it says, let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. Let our strength be the law of justice, not what's right, not a fair balance that says, and judgment, but our strength. So him who has all the guns. All right. So it says, let our strength be the law of justice, because that's exactly what's going on here. But that which is feeble is found to be of nothing worth. So we come into the court of law and we come to battle, to combat, how they used to have that combat to determine who's right. But we show up to combat armed with the Bible, and they show up to combat armed with sword, knife, gun, and shield, and armor. All right. And so the evidences aren't heard. All right. And of course, you don't stand a chance barehanded against armor, shield, knife, sword, and gun. You just don't. And that's basically what they're doing. Let their might be the law of justice. And that's exactly how they've been operating all along. Okay. It says, verse 12, therefore let us wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. He is clean contrary to our doings, and we are. All right. We're clean contrary to their wickedness, to their unlawful rulership and their unbalanced, unfair rulership. Okay. And all we do is read the Bible and tell and the Bible prophesies that who they are, or how they would act and what they would do, and how the power of the Bible would come to take them out of power. Not us. We can't do anything. Neither are we going to try to do anything. Because the Bible forbids us to do it. It says, he that lives by the sword shall die by the sword. We preach and teach that we're waiting on who the world ignorantly calls Jesus to come and do this. And that's exactly what we're doing. So I guess they really are afraid of this said Jesus. whose name really is Yahushua. That's who they're afraid of, because Jesus is made up and harmless. Jesus actually translates to earth pig, and the pig has no power. And the Lord said when he comes back this time, he shall not greet them as a man. All right, and these what they call IFOs or UFOs been showing up at all these disasters, at all these battles and these wars. They're in the midst of tornadoes, and they're in the midst of volcanoes erupting. They're in the midst of earthquakes. They always show up. See, guess what? They're gonna let the strength of their let their strength be the law of justice, and they aren't going to be able to do anything against them with their missiles and their F-14s and their military. See, the Lord's going to reverse it on them. That's what they're really afraid of. So, but you know what? Hurry up and establish your DHS disinformation thing, because the sooner you put your hands on us, you're going to make the Lord do what he needs to do, because that's the fulfills the prophecy. The MOTB, which is the crash of the digital dollar, which is going to be controlled by the MOTB, and then you putting your hands on the prophets. Bring it the fuck on. What y'all waiting for? Hurry up. All right? And it says, and he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending of the law. Yes, we do. And object to our infamy and transgression of our education. Yes, we do. All right? He professes to have knowledge of God. We do. And he calleth himself the child of the Lord. We are. He was made to reprove our thoughts. We were. And we're reproving your thoughts and your lies. He is grievous unto us to behold. For his life is like no other men's. His ways was of another fashion. And it is grievous. It's grievous both ways. You hate looking at us. We hate looking at you in power. All right? We are esteemed as counterfeits. You are counterfeits. He abstained from our ways as from filthiness. He has pronounced the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that God of his father. So yeah, and our end will be blessed, and God is our father, not yours. And then here he is. It said, let us see if his words be true. Let us prove what shall happen to him in the end. So that means that you're going to come down on us. You're going to kill us. You're going to lock us up. And a few of us, you will do that. But the moment you put your hand on the elect, the Lord is coming to tear you up and tear you literally in pieces. All right? Well, there won't be son, nephew, or seed, or anything left of you. With that, I'm going to give all praises, all glory, and all honor unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, whom they fear. All right? By Hashem Rukakwadash, Wa Abba Kwam Yasharala Shalom.